From today, anyone who is unvaccinated against COVID-19 will not be allowed to dine in anywhere. Singapore's new vaccinated travel lanes attracting thousands of applicants after just one day. And Squid Game captures 111 million views worldwide, making it Netflix's biggest ever series at launch. Hello, you're watching The Big Story. I'm Olivia Quay. New stricter rules kicking in with unvaccinated or partially vaccinated people barred from entering malls or large stores. While they're taking effect today, the rules won't be enforced until next Tuesday, October the 19th. So people not fully vaccinated can step foot in the malls if they show proof of an appointment with a clinic located inside or a letter from a preschool or childcare center in the mall that they're dropping off or picking up a child. If you're unvaccinated and attending an event at the mall, you'll need to show a valid negative pre-event test result. Another exception, show that you've recovered from COVID-19. Children 12 and under who are ineligible for the COVID-19 jabs are also exempt from these new rules. In a more drastic change, unvaccinated individuals can no longer sit down for a drink or a meal at hawker centres and coffee shops. Multimedia journalist Renee Poh speaks to patrons and stall holders about the new measures.
Looks like business as usual here, but with one difference. New rules are taking effect today at hawker centres and coffee shops island-wide. Unvaccinated or partially vaccinated, such individuals are only allowed to dabao or buy takeaway food from these places. No dining in is permitted. But there is a one-week grace period for the public to get used to the new rules.
Here at Tampines Round Market, there are now separate entry and exit points for the market and the food centre. The staff manning the entrance said they were not told to check patrons' vaccination status, but are letting anyone in as long as they complete their Trace Together check-in. Patrons we spoke to said they mostly welcomed the new rules.
I think government is doing that to protect those that are not vaccinated. At first, I was also quite don't understand how come people don't want to get vaccinated. But after speaking around, I understand that there are some people that are they have some medical issues, so they can't vaccinate.
It's a good move in the right direction. Otherwise, these people don't want to get vaccinated. Then you still become a source, a potential hidden source of infection.
For those that are unvaccinated, it's better for them to eat at home. But personal opinion, I think it's fine to come out and eat. Why so? We're sitting at a distance from each other. So with the chairs, in fact, it's labeled down here. It should be clear enough space. At the end of the day, I think we have to learn to live with this.
However, stallholders had mixed feelings.
这个新的措施来讲，对我们小贩来讲是有那个一种保护了所以对顾客也好，对我们也好了，当然是会啦，因为多多少少的话，生意当然会影响到了，不可能说完全是不会影响的。那今天的生意量来讲就可以看到的是人有减少很多了咯。
Two safe distancing ambassadors were spotted at the food centre conducting checks and advising patrons on the new measures, ahead of next week when the rules will be enforced. Renee Poh for the Straits Times.
Well, since these tighter vaccination-based rules were announced last Saturday, and with quarantine-free travel under the VTLs as another incentive, clinics tell the Straits Times they're noticing an increase in the number of people getting their shots. Likewise, for the major private healthcare providers that run Singapore's vaccination centres. They say a majority of those coming in were there for their booster shots. For instance, Raffles Medical Group, which operates 12 centres, says there was an overall 20% rise in those getting boosters since the weekend. Speaking at the G20 Trade and Investment Ministers meeting in Italy, Trade and Industry Minister Gan Kim Yong says Singapore will play an active role in scaling up and diversifying vaccine production for the region. In a written parliamentary reply this month, Mr. Gan had said Singapore is anchoring more vaccine manufacturing activities here, not only to meet local demand, but also to supply to the world. Meanwhile, Moderna arguing that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration should authorize a half dose of its vaccine as a booster shot, at least 6 months after the second dose, citing evidence that its vaccine potency against infection wanes over time. But according to FDA's own analysis, overall, Moderna and the other vaccines still afford protection against severe disease and death in the U.S. Within 24 hours of applications opening for the 8 new vaccinated travel lanes, more than 2,400 travelers applied and were approved to enter Singapore, comprising long-term pass holders and short-term visitors arriving between October 19th and November 17th. As you can see, those flying in from the UK made up the largest group. Then a sharp drop, almost half from France, followed by travelers departing from the US. But if you're looking to travel out of Singapore but still unsure of the procedures, here are some things to note about the new normal of pandemic leisure travel. First off, how do I register and prepay for the pre-departure PCR test? Singapore Airlines has information on the pre-departure test providers on its website. Contact these providers directly to book the tests. On-arrival tests when returning to Singapore can be booked on safetravel.changiairport.com. Other countries may have different entry requirements, so make sure you check them before your trip. What happens if I test positive on my pre-departure test? Well, airlines will deny travelers from boarding if they're diagnosed with COVID-19 14 days or less from the date of travel. Again, different countries have varying requirements if you test positive on this test, so visit the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website for the latest advisories on your destination. Will travel insurance cost more? What kind of coverage do I need? While the premiums will depend on coverage, prices of travel insurance with COVID-19 coverage have risen sharply. It's also important to find a policy that offers COVID-19 coverage for scenarios like if your trip is cancelled, postponed or cut short, as well as for medical expenses incurred overseas and quarantine allowances. According to the World Economic Forum's latest ASEAN Youth Survey done during the pandemic, there's a high demand to push digital tools in finance, especially when it comes to payments. For the some 86,000 respondents, 66 of them want more tools to go cashless. While in a Straits Times panel discussing these survey findings, Malaysia Finance Minister Tengku Zafrul Aziz lays out the situation in his country.
In Malaysia, in just 1 year, up to June this year, we have seen e-wallet volume increase about 89%. That's around 468 million transactions. And even merchant are participating. And we've seen the QR payments jump to 1 million registrations. And of course, online banking has been improving steadily, but last 1 year especially, it's gone up to 12.1 billion transactions. That's an improvement of 36%. So this corroborates with the finding of the report, where 66% of the respondents want to use more digital tools for payments. Maybe the older generation may, have slept with their money under their pillow, but the youth these days will sleep with their phones under their pillows. Moreover, I think it was highlighted in the report, digitalization has a, profound flywheel effect, which was again explained by Santi just now. So most of the respondents want to digitalize their lives. And this trend is even more pronounced in MSME owners who are now relatively digitalized, which holds true for Malaysia as well. And we have seen many studies, and they found that contactless payments have become the preferred payment options for Malaysians in light of the pandemic. So this acceleration in digital payment adoption is also part of our robust financial technology ecosystem, our fintech ecosystem. And the World Economic Forum also had this index, the Network Readiness Index, which measures the propensity for countries to exploit the opportunities in the internet sector. And we are placed, Malaysia, at 34th spot ahead of many emerging economies.
Moderated by ST's Associate Editor Ravi Velour, the panel also discusses how the pandemic has affected SMEs and women. You can watch the full thing on the Straits Times' Facebook and YouTube platforms. Also in the news, the inquiry committee into the fatal Tuas explosion is inviting the public to submit their recommendations to prevent such workplace accidents from recurring. The recommendation should focus on ways to ensure the safe commissioning, operation, maintenance and repair of similar industrial machines, as well as the safe supply, storage and handling of combustible dust or powders at similar workplace settings. For more details, check out the story on straitstimes.com. Some of Singapore's best-loved attractions are getting new names. The River Safari will be known as the River Wonders, while Jurong Bird Park will be called Bird Paradise when it moves to its new Mandai home next year, delayed due to the pandemic. The opening of a new wildlife park, known as the Rainforest Wild, has also been pushed back by a year to 2024. According to Bloomberg, citing sources familiar with the matter, Apple is likely to cut down production of the iPhone 13 by as many as 10 million units because of a global chip shortage. The company was expected to produce 90 million units of the new models by the end of this year, while Apple declined to comment. Hey, Squid Game has officially become Netflix's biggest original series launch. According to the streaming service, the Korean drama reaching 111 million viewers worldwide in just 27 days, beating Bridgerton, which pulled in 82 million fans on its debut. Am I the only one who hasn't seen Squid Game yet? Before I go, these are some tributes to Singapore's frontliners sent in by the Straits Times readers and posted on this tribute wall on our website. For nearly 2 years, doctors, nurses, community care staff, delivery riders, cleaners and many, many more have been at the forefront of our COVID-19 battle. And if you want to be part of our hashtag #STCovidHeroes Instagram campaign in acknowledging their efforts, you could post a photograph of a frontline worker you have met, a photo or video of yourself thanking them, even a drawing or a card. Submissions must include the hashtag #STCovidHeroes, and entries will be added to the tribute wall every day. For more news and videos, visit straitstimes.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the red button below. I'm Olivia Quay. See you tomorrow on The Big Story.